So this is your first UFO convention. You think you'll try another one?
Yeah, I think I'll try another one. Um,
Yeah, like I said, I think it would be fun if you went with someone else. I would maybe be willing to go with you, but I don't know, man. If I'm too much of a skeptic or something, and
mm,
I don't know how interested I'll be. I mean, I'm just interested in this as a phenomenon. I think it's most likely, mostly from the mind, but I still think that's interesting. I mean, I
mm,
think culture is interesting, anthropology is interesting, and like deeply interesting. Like, the 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 various systems of belief or just the experiences that we have and what those could mean. And maybe it could kind of be both. It could kind of be something real and something in the mind. Maybe it's like a like a signal that our unformed antennae are picking up badly and then interpreting in like a strange, way, a strange, bizarre way, but maybe, you know, like I'm both, sort of logical and skeptical and also open-minded and just interested in whatever it is that's going on, whether it's all the mind or all physical reality, and whether it's all true, all the things that people say.
mm,
But I do, in the end, I do try, if we're talking about physical truth, I do try to emphasize, rigor and data and most likeliness, in terms of my credulence or
mm,
uh my belief. I'm not going to act or change my life based on something that to me doesn't seem that likely. I try to have a proportionate kind of response. And I do try to, I mean, tell me what you think of this. I do try to have the sort of Platonic kind of approach to the mind where I'm monitoring myself. So if there's something that I want to believe, that to me is maybe the most interesting and most important part. If there's some story that I want to believe, like, why is that? And that's maybe it's more important to know why I want to believe that. Like if I detect that within myself, or if I am believing something, or if I'm, defensive or skeptical about like overly skeptical about something, or if I'm getting angry or something, if I'm dismissive. Like to see I try to monitor myself for all that.
mm,
So, I don't know. With me, sometimes just like I think there's an old proverb of like wherever I go in philosophy, on the way back, I meet Plato, you know. And I guess with me, sometimes like a lot of things like just end up with Plato a little bit. But yeah, what do you think about all that? I mean, I've asked,
mm,
I mean, I've asked you before, but I don't quite understand what it is your interest is in this, but you're interested in general in strange and mysterious things, in like both they could be true and also this is entertaining. It's
mm,
kind of like, I mean, I think I've told you you're very open on the sort of uh as a trait, like I think that's something we have in common, but you're a little bit different, like you're a little bit more into this kind of bizarre stuff, this like,
mm,
you know, uh non-mainstream stuff or something like that.
mm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's kind of as you describe. I'm just naturally interested. And yeah, I do kind of find it entertaining in a way. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of find it hard to believe that there's something wrong mentally with every person, or to where like their senses are like tricking them in a way. So I'm kind of skeptical that it's all fake. Like, so um
Yeah.
yeah, but so yeah, yeah, I think yeah, maybe I want to believe it in a way. Um
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
what
I
I was
just find it
thinking. I mean, because we've had whole societies believe like weird and untrue things for, throughout human history. So, I mean, that's a bigger number, so than like the small number of people you're talking about. So, but then it's like maybe you're marshaling that idea because you want to believe. Not that that is a problem either, but like me talking about the Plato thing, maybe that's the interesting thing to talk about. And that's still, yeah, because if you had a different mind, you would say, well, it's all these people, but like 1% of the population has, psychoticism at some point in their life. And there's also motivated reasoning. There's like people trying to gain status or, people fooling themselves. And, the mind itself is fragile. Like people get tired, people do drugs, people drink alcohol, blah, blah, blah. So you could
Yeah,
go either way, I think, on the data. But yeah, that's the interesting
yeah.
part for me is there's still that question, that
Mm,
same question that I'm asking is why do you
yeah.
want to believe, I guess. Even Fox Mulder said that, I
Mm,
think, from the X-Files, which I think you haven't watched, right? Which is kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah.
mm,
So the question is why do you want to believe?
mm. I don't know. Like maybe I just want to believe that there's more mystery to the world and we don't know everything. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd like to believe there's more to the world than what we can just see or experience on an everyday level.
Yeah, I think that's something I have in common with you too, but you're more like into it and you're more emotional about it, sort of. But yeah, I am kind of into stories about supernatural, about ghosts and things. I don't listen to them very much, but I can see a strong like emotional response that I have to a lot of those types of stories. And yeah, it is important to have, yeah, epistemological uh humility. But I guess also I just think some of the things that are most interesting are like things that are more there's more to dig into, like just things from human history or things with culture. And those things also link to like the supernatural or the mysterious and things, but it's more, yeah, I guess it's more supported by rationality and by data and things. Because like a lot of these stories, it just ends in total mystery, right? Like we just don't know. And then you can like dig further into it and try to find parallels and everything. But